Now you'll see how Marilyn Manson and his stage looks changed from his early age to now. Also, you'll learn all the most interesting things about him. Enjoy watching. Brian Hugh Warner was born in Canton, Ohio. The father of the future star was a furniture dealer, and his mother worked as a nurse. Despite the fact that his father was a Catholic, from early childhood the boy attended the Episcopal Church with his mother. Warner attended a Christian school where teachers tried to show him what kind of music he should not listen to. As a result, the boy fell in love with his music, and it was it that influenced his further creativity. In high school, the singer was transferred to an ordinary school where he was harassed and beaten by other students. Marilyn's childhood cannot be called happy or cloudless. The mother of the celebrity suffered from mental illness, which undoubtedly affected his outlook. The woman constantly indoctrinated the boy that he was sick. Thus, Manson for a long time thought that he had anemia, allergies, and very long earlobes. That's why, after gaining fame, the artist turned to a plastic surgeon with a request to cut off his earlobes. Brian, as a child, witnessed the amusement of his fetishist grandfather. The future rock star used to sneak into the basement where the old man kept his intimate toys and underwear. And here, once young Manson caught his grandfather watching an adult movie. The scene was forever preserved in the boy's memory. In 1996, the song Kinderfeld was released, where the first verse tells about an old man who turns the trains to get rid of his problems. After graduating from high school, the guy finds a job at a local music magazine. There he works as a journalist and fulfills the role of music critic. And in his spare time, he composes poems. In 1989, Brian creates a rock band together with guitarist Scott Grotesque. It's at this point that his stage name Marilyn Manson appears, which also becomes the name of the cult band. The musician didn't accidentally choose such a nickname. It combined the name of actress and model Marilyn Monroe and the surname of a serial killer, Charles Manson. It became a kind of analogy between light and darkness, good and evil. By the way, Charles Manson wrote the musician a very strange note from prison to which Marilyn never responded. The musician came up with similar pseudonyms for the rest of the band members. For example, Scott became Daisy Berkowitz. In 1994, their first studio album, Portrait of an American Family, was released. The record was produced by Marilyn Manson and Trent Reznor, whom the singer met while he was still a journalist. Reznor showed interest in the young band and the work of the rock musician, and allowed them to open shows of his project 9 Inch Nails. MM's debut album was a poor commercial success, but generally received positive reviews. However, the real popularity of the band was brought by the cover version of the song Sweet Dreams, included in the EP Smells Like Children. The idea to re-sing the famous song came to the frontman under the influence of heavy substances. As the artist himself says, he was hallucinating a slower and angrier version of the popular hit, sung in his voice. The second studio album, Antichrist Superstar, is considered to be one of the most complex and conceptual in Marilyn Manson's work. The producer of the record is Reznor again, and thanks to his professionalism, the band reaches a new level. Religious motifs, dualism, occultism, and numerology used in creation of the record even today cause a lot of controversy about its true essence. 5 singles were released from the album, for each of which a music video was shot. The song The Beautiful People was a reflection of contempt for those who blindly submit to beauty standards and criticizes those whom society considers beautiful. Manson, on the contrary, wanted to make ugliness popular to destroy stereotypes. The composition is still a leader on Spotify today. The album itself was an impressive commercial success. In the first week alone, 130,000 copies were sold in the US, which allowed it to reach number 3 on the Billboard 200 charts. After the release, the band went on tour where they played 175 shows, making it the longest tour in Marilyn Manson's history. After its completion, the band releases the Dead to the World DVD with behind-the-scenes footage. The video shows what goes on the other side of the stage: smoking, drinking, fighting with fans, and so on. Antichrist Superstar becomes the first of 3 albums in the Triptych series. The record is provocative like all MM's work. The next release in the series was Mechanical Animals. It symbolized a new stage of the band's development, in which they moved from their usual sound to melodic glam rock. The album became the first large-scale work of the band without Reznor's participation. The record reached the highest positions in the charts of 3 countries and became the best-selling album in 1998 in the USA. And the third and final work in the triptych series is Hollywood, where the band once again returns to a vicious and brutal sound. But that's not the only thing that has stirred up the community. The cover features Manson crucified like Jesus on a cross. Walmart and Kmart refused to sell the album because of the provocative imagery. Despite the fact that the record's sales were limited, the frontman was pleased with his corporate reaction to his work. The group's music is confrontational, and the images of the musicians have angered many social conservatives. Their concerts were constantly picketed by parent groups and religious advocates who claim that Marilyn Manson's music has a negative impact on youth culture and provokes violence. For example, Marilyn was blamed for the Columbine high school shooting. Then many people believe that the singer's creativity and images really inspired young people to mass murder. Concerts of the band were cancelled, as the frontman himself admitted it almost ruined his entire career. After such tragic events, Manson, as a protest against the journalistic craze for sensationalism, released the third single of the Hollywood album called The Nobodies. The song describes the fate of the shooters, who yesterday were nothing, but today have become popular all over the world. It was also a rebuke to local journalists. 2003 saw the release of the Golden Age of Grotesque, the band's 5th album, which combined surrealism and 30s expressionism. Manson was able to translate everything that was going on in his head into songs, no matter how extreme it was. No one will forget his performances during his world tour, where girls dressed as half-dead danced against the 30s sets, and Siamese twins sang on stage. The band's creativity leaves no one indifferent, and Manson's behavior on stage causes a lot of controversy among those who admire him and those who do not understand. For example, at some concerts, the musician took out a Bible and tore it up with the words, "Are you letting God run your life?" His crazy antics and egregious behavior gave him the fame of moral tramper and Antichrist. At the peak of world popularity, about the star was written a lot of rumors, which sometimes surprised with their stupidity. So there was information that the musician removed his ribs to satisfy himself orally, or that it drinks the blood of Christian babies and is fond of intimate entertainment with animals. The list of these absurdities can be continued endlessly, but all this shows that Manson is interesting to people in one way or another. But music is not Marilyn's only passion. Not many people know that Brian has also shown himself as a talented artist. All of his paintings are firmly linked to this image. In each of them, there is a motif of cruelty, horror, and violence. But despite the frightening subjects, Warner's works have an incredible attraction. To date, written more than 150 paintings, which were exhibited at exhibitions in Los Angeles, Moscow, Paris, Berlin, and other cities. A special place for Marilyn is a series of works dedicated to the infamous Elizabeth Short, known as Black Dahlia. In parallel, the musician is starring in various movies and talk shows. Brian's debut as an actor took place in 1997 in the movie Lost Highway. At this point, he felt trapped in his own popularity. This led to Manson's thinking about quitting music and going into painting and movies. Among the films and TV series in which Marilyn appeared as an actor, there are such works as Jawbreaker, Party Monster, Sons of Anarchy, Salem, and others. But that's not all. The singer has its own brand of Swiss absinthe called Manson. The drink received extremely contradictory reviews. Some critics called its taste bad. However, this didn't prevent it from winning a gold medal at the World Spirits 2008 competition. And despite the fact that absinthe is Manson's favorite drink, in 2015 the musician said that he would no longer drink it. Another unusual hobby of the rock star is collecting medical prosthetics. His collection includes artificial limbs, glass eyes, and much more. At one time, there was even a myth that Marilyn ate his eye, and in its place put a prosthesis. In addition, the singer has his own brand of contact lenses, which is called the Marilyn Manson look. Despite his tough and apathetic image, the frontman shows a lighter side. He collaborated with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to help a fan who was diagnosed with a dangerous disease. The guy was invited to the recording studio where he recorded backing vocals for the Golden Age of Grotesque album. And Marilyn also took part in Oxfam's 2013 Rumble in the Jumble event, which raised funds to help victims of domestic and sexual violence in the Congo. The musician's personal life was buzzing with a variety of events. Manson's first wife was a burlesque dancer, Dita Von Teese. The wedding of the couple was held in a style of the 30s in one of the places of Ireland. It was Dita who, with her appearance, had a significant influence on the process of creating the golden age of Grotesque. She constantly accompanied Manson, was backstage during his performances, however, a year later the couple divorced. After that, the musician began a relationship with Evan Rachel Wood. The couple was even going to get married, but soon the engagement was cancelled. And 11 years later, the actress sued her former lover and accused him of physical and moral abuse. At the same time, several other acquaintances of girls accused the musician of abusive behavior. Manson himself denies such accusations. The artist filed a counterclaim where he accuses Evan of slander. The legal battle lasted for several years, but eventually the point in such an unpleasant case for the musician was put to rest. The singer's second wife was a photographer, Lindsay Usage, with whom he has known since 2010. The metal singer has more than 450 scars on his body, and if some of them appeared after cuts during the performance on stage, the nature of the others is much more personal. For example, after breaking up with his girlfriend in 2008, Marilyn called her 158 times, and after each unanswered call, he cut his face and hands. He later admitted that he had acted very stupidly. Marilyn Manson continues to actively influence the world of music and culture, remaining a controversial but iconic figure. Despite a high-profile lawsuit, Brian continues to work on new music. His work, although controversial, continues to inspire and impress people around the globe. Watch these videos to see more fascinating transformations of your favorite rock stars. See you in the next video.